Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and today I am joined with Danny on top of me, and Tyler is on the bottom. It is a bit of a three-way action today. We are doing a 12-team half PPR mock draft from the 6th overall spot, right in the middle. The roster positions are 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wideouts, a tight end, flex, kicker, and defense, even though those shouldn't be there. We always do that because, everyone else plays a kicker and defense, and 6 bench spots. What are your guys' thoughts before we get into this here?
Sounds good. Ready to go. I mean, Danny Football 59 on Twitter, and I'm assuming Nick's going to link my channel in the description.
It's down there.
Unlike some other channels. Tyler Moss, NFL, on the hunt to 70 followers, guys. We're 13 away, so big chase here. We're on the long stretch. It's the closing stretch, though. We're swinging for 70.
Don't you have to reach 60 to get to 70 first?
Hey. I make my own goals, okay? I'm a winner, all right?
All right.
Respectable.
That's
on
respectable.
the road to 400 still.
Yeah. All right, let's just get into this fucking video. Who cares how many Twitter followers you have, man? You're no hit not now. The fucking new draft experience is garbage. FantasyPros.com. I'm sorry to tell you. So right now off the board at the 101 was Christian McCaffrey, then Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, and Michael Thomas. Pretty fucking typical. I mean, Nothing really out of the ordinary there.
Yeah, no, pretty typical here. What are you guys' thoughts on this pick? I mean, single quarterback league. I would prefer to grab the running back in Kamara here, but I just want to know what you guys got to say about it.
I'm interested in Mixon here. I don't know. I've been going back and forth in my mind who I value a little bit more, Mixon or Alvin Kamara. I don't have Henry that high. I would have Henry probably a little bit under Mixon, which I think we mostly all agree on.
A little preview for the next video that'll be coming out, but
yeah, for sure. You can go, Danny.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say I like Kamara a ton here. I mean, he missed a few games last year, but in points per game, he finished overall, he finished as the RB9. I got to look into what his points per game was, but he finished RB9. I mean, he was banged up the majority of the season in general. I'm just looking at it. I mean, he's getting his quarterback back. He still should be getting the targets he's used to. I mean, 81 catches the past 3 years. RB9 seems like his absolute low point. And I feel like he has a legitimate top 4 upside. So getting him at the 6th overall pick here, RB5 off the board, I mean, I think that's tremendous value.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of with Tyler here as well. I like Mixon as well. They're very close to me. I think I'd slightly lean Kamara here, but it's very close to me. It's like splitting hairs. I mean, if you're doing 2 drafts and one you pick Kamara, the other one you pick Mixon, because to me, they're super similar. I mean, Mixon really depends on if Burrow is as good as we think he is. I mean, Kamara's probably the much safer option, considering what's around him, so I'd probably go Kamara here, but it's very close.
I mean, we've seen it from Kamara in the past. I mean, he's been a top 4 running back the past 2 years before this, like last year. Whereas like Mixon, I still think he's supremely talented. The situation to be better, but he just gives me more pause. And I mean, if I'm in the first round here, middle of the first round at 6th overall pick, I want to just secure the safe floor with still top 4 upside. So that's why I lead Kamara. I mean, again, I love Mixon. He's still a definite guy I'm targeting in drafts. Just at this particular point, I would personally prefer Kamara.
Yeah, I think we're going to go with Kamara here, but none of us are on Henry at all. And I don't think – would any of you guys want to pick a wide receiver at 6? Because after Michael Thomas, I would just say, fuck it. You just go running back.
Yeah, I agree with that. I take
running back. So I would definitely take Mixon. If I was sitting at the 9, my picks, I definitely jump over Henry and I grab DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins, while being looked at as the wide receiver 2, has still incredible value. Now, I think he's on a much better offensive system for him. I think he's going to do some damage here in fantasy this year, but not at this pick.
Yeah, I think we go with Kamara here, even though I do like Mixon as well, just like Tyler said. But yeah, I think Kamara's the pick here.
I like it.
All right, so can you click on the draft board thing at the bottom of the screen? It says next cheat sheet, it says draft board. Okay, so it's easier to read. So after we went with Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones came out the board, followed by Derrick Henry, Kenyon Drake, Joe Mixon, DeAndre Hopkins, Nick Chubb, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Todd Gurley, Devin Singletary, Julio Jones, Leonard Fournette. Now this first and second round, this has been an absolute shit show. So first we have to talk about the fact that this asshat over here, it's a fake person.
No pun intended.
Fuck the computer, you dumbass. Kenyon Drake at the 106.78, the 109. That is crazy.
His team is Kenyon Drake and Devin Singletary after 2 rounds. What is he doing there?
I have no idea. That guy wears a fucking helmet to ride the bus. I don't understand this.
I mean, no punt intended. The only punt that's happening is he's punting the season away with those 2 picks.
Yeah, that makes no sense. I love Kenyon Drake, but not in the first round, in like the late second early third is where you probably are going to want to get him. Devin Singletary as well makes zero sense. Devin Singletary is a guy that we may talk about could potentially be a bust, to be honest with you. And in the second round, that's way too high. Tyler, you got anything on those guys?
Yeah, this kid punted himself in the nuts here with this draft board. I mean, this is a fucking mess. What a disgrace. This kid's crying home to his mom after this game. Obviously worse in the league. He'll probably draft probably about John Ross for the next pick. No understanding of value.
Okay, so right here we are at the 207 right here. We're looking at there's some wide receivers available. All the tight ends are available. All the quarterbacks are available. But obviously, we're not going to look quarterback or tight end here. This isn't one of those experimental videos where you pick a quarterback in the second round and then you hate your team at the end of the draft. So right here, I think we're looking running back or wide receiver, correct?
I was going to say, for me personally here, it would come down to 3 specific options. It would come down to Chris Godwin, Josh Jacobs, or if you want to think about it, I'm looking at Austin Ekeler as well. I mean, one of those 3 guys I'd be perfectly fine with taking here, but what do you guys think about that?
No, I completely agree. Out of the running backs, Jacobs and Ekeler are very close, and Godwin is by far and ahead over these other guys. So the other guys available 100%. At the wide receiver position, it's like Godwin, then his teammate Evans, Cooper, Golladay. There's kind of really a tier break right after Chris Godwin, at least to me. So if you want to go wide receiver here, you'd go Godwin. If not, I think I like Jacobs slightly better than Ekeler, but I debate back and forth every single video.
I mean, with Jacobs, your touch floor you're going to get with him. Whereas Ekeler, you don't know specifically because we haven't really seen him like operate as a lead back. Like he's always been in tandem with Melvin Gordon. We haven't seen him get over 200 carries in a season. I mean, we saw the floor last year in terms of his catching ability. He caught 92 catches. But again, his quarterback left in the offseason. We don't know his true ability as a pure workhorse yet. Even though I love the guy, I mean, I'm looking at Jacobs here. I mean, he's coming off of his rookie season. Really snapped, really had a good season. I would have a hard time passing Jacobs here personally, but what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, Tyler, what do you think here?
I like Godwin. I mean, it hurts. I'm a pusher of drafting 2 running backs early. I think this pick, the reason we went for it is kind of weird sitting here right at the 6. I like Godwin though. I mean, I feel like he's fallen to a point where I feel incredibly comfortable at taking him here. I don't know. Josh Jacobs kind of concerns me. Just on a volume and obviously the injury as well. Not that I think that'll hold him back. I just would rather take Godwin here. I think Godwin probably is probably the highest beneficiary of Brady going to Tampa.
For sure. I mean, he's the slot receiver there. Brady really relies on his slot receivers in the past. So I love Godwin. I mean, I think he's the clear tier breakout receiver here. Just the way I look at it, the way I want to construct my team, as if I believe Josh Jacobs is going to be a workhorse. And if I'm able to grab 2 workhorses in the first 2 rounds, I feel like the value at receiver, like I could still get a guy like DJ Moore or Kenny Golladay, Allen Robinson, Courtland Sutton in the ensuing rounds. So I would prefer anchoring my team with these 2 running backs and be able to, tack on the receivers afterwards. But I mean, adding a guy like Godwin, I mean, he's going to be a top 6 receiver next year. I mean, Brady loves his slot receivers. Godwin came off a 1,300-yard season just last season. I mean, he was fantastic. I mean, anybody who watched the Bucs game, he was all over the field. So,
yeah, here, can you scroll down for the running backs real quick? Because I want to see which running backs are available after. So we got Jacobs, Ekeler, then Sanders, Carson, Bell, Ingram, guys like that. So I'm going to be honest with you. I think I would go Jacobs here as well, just because I don't trust the breakoff from here. So we're picking here at the 207. We don't pick again for 12 picks. So where like the running back you can get, you might end up with Lev Bell as your RB2. And I mean, I like Le'Veon Bell, but I don't feel super confident with him being my 2. I'd rather him be my flex if I'm thinking about it. So I'd probably go Jacobs here, but I could see why you would want to go Godwin. Godwin is by far the best wide receiver there.
Easily.
By far. But Jacobs, the fall off from Jacobs to a guy like Melvin Gordon to me, which could be potentially who we would have to pick, is too big not to pick Jacobs.
Yeah, I agree with that fully. I mean, looking even at the past picks, I mean, Devin Singletary went at the beginning of the 2nd round. Like, I don't know how the heck the computer just simmed that. I mean, there's some going on there. But, they took Kenyon Drake in the 1st and Singletary in the 2nd, and they were the 2 lowest ranked running backs on the board that were taken so far. So I don't know what that computer team's doing. But, again, like I agree with Jacobs. Lock down your 2 running backs, fill out the receivers later on. I think he's the pick here.
Yeah. Tyler, are you okay with us taking Jacobs here?
I'm not going to cry about it. I think the value you get a wide receiver later on, it is well covered to make up not going with Godwin here. I think Jacobs is a smart pick. again, like I said, running back is my key draft strategy in every single draft I run. Sometimes the value is just there that I can't deny, and I go with a wide receiver, but I would be okay drafting Jacobs here.
Okay, yeah, go with Las Vegas Raider, Josh Jacobs. So then click on the draft board again so I can read it real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so after we went with Joshua Jacobs, Chris Godwin obviously went right after, followed by Austin Eckler, Travis Kelce, Kenny Golladay, George Kittle, Amari Cooper, Lamar Jackson, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham Jr., Miles Sanders. The pick I want to talk about here real quick, Mike Evans has really fallen. He was a guy that you were seeing in the second round in a lot of mocks, and now with Brady joining, he falls all the way to the third round. And obviously Kelce and Kittle go in the second round, which is typically where you're going to see those two guys. Do you guys think that Kittle is much better than Kelce, or like the reverse, or because I have Kelce above Kittle?
I mean, in terms of a redraft, I mean, they're very comparable. Now, you get into Dynasty, it's a whole different ballpark. Kelsey's a 30-year-old, whereas Kittle's 25 years old. So there's a clear tier break there. But in terms of redraft, I mean, they're both going to produce over 1,000 yards. They're both key integral parts of their offense. I mean, obviously, Kelce has a quarterback advantage, while Kittle will probably have the target advantage simply because they have Deebo Samuel, him, and nothing else. So, I mean, they're very comparable, and I think their value there at the end of the second round is very justifiable.
Okay. Now, what do you guys think about taking Lamar Jackson in the third round? Would you ever think about doing that? Because I would never.
Now, the value is there particularly. I wouldn't be able to personally do it, but I can see if a team grabs a running back, grabs a receiver in the first 2 rounds, and they feel comfortable doing it, okay, go ahead. But in my personal strategy, I prefer waiting on my quarterback, especially in a one-quarterback league, simply because the positional advantage you get at other positions early in a draft just trump the ones you get at quarterback. Like, for example, Lamar Jackson's season last year was so special. Like, he's quarterback one, most fantasy points of all time. Yet Christian McCaffrey, between him and the RB2, had a bigger differential than Lamar Jackson in the quarterback two.
Mm-hmm.
So it just shows you, like, even with the best season of all time, the running back positional advantage there, like grabbing a guy like McCaffrey, is still going to trump it. So, I mean, I love Lamar as a player. I think he's easily a top 2 option for next year for Dynasty. I mean, any way you look at it. But personally here at the 302, I mean, I would have much rather have a guy like Miles Sanders, or, I mean, we're looking at him on the board. I would really love DJ Moore here. One of those options I would prefer to grab in my own personal roster construction.
I'd tell you, it kind of hurt me seeing Miles Sanders go right the pick before us. I would just have pushed him really, really hard. Obviously, we're sitting here with DJ Moore. I love that pick.
He's the pick for me.
One case I do want to make, just for fun, I think the wide receiver class is unusually deep into a point of my comfortability of taking some of the guys lower end. Say we get – can you scroll down the wide receivers real quick?
Yeah.
Say we get like A.J. Brown or, Stephon Diggs, Calvin Ridley as our wide receiver one. I'd be very comfortable, which is why I'm making the case right now. Why don't we go Mark Andrews? Get a sure lock tight end. My tight end class goes Kelce, Kittle, and then it goes, Kittle, Kelce, and then it goes Mark Andrews. And then it just drops to a point where I'm not even comfortable starting whoever else every single week, even with Ertz too, Goddard being there. So I really like Andrews as just a plug-in and just not mess with, unless, his 5 weeks around. Mark Andrews is a very interesting pick here, even though DJ Moore is an elite receiver.
For me personally, I would go Moore, but I do like the Andrews mentioned simply because I think he's worth mentioning at the middle of the second round here, or third round here. Now, my thing is there's so many deeper tight ends that I love this year. Like, if we scroll down, I mean, I love the potential of a guy like Noah Fant, TJ Hawkinson, Mike Gesicki. I love their potentials, and especially you could even stack a couple of them at the end of your drafts. And, like, if one of them booms, which is likely to happen, you lock one of them down. So, I mean, you see a lot of fantasy analysts. I mean, Bush has said this in the past. Oh, don't draft more than one tight end. Don't draft more than one quarterback. Now, if you're waiting on those positions, I am more than fine taking chances at the end of my draft and taking shots at these high upside players, because it's more likely. Like, for example, last year, say you took a bunch of chances at tight end. You took a stab at Mark Andrews. You took a stab at Darren Waller. Or 2 years ago, you took a stab at George Kittle. Like, there are guys that pay off at the end of your drafts that you could see the upside situation before the season, and it comes to fruition. So for me, I'm looking at it. I mean, I would much rather prefer taking a guy like DJ Moore, who I know is going to be a top 10 wide receiver, upgrade at quarterback this year. In general, he was just so consistent when on the field last year. I just would prefer to lock that down as opposed to taking my tight end this early because of my comfort level with a guy like Fant or a guy like Hawkinson.
It's just
so that's my take.
My opinion is just I feel like we can get a lock tight end and still get very, very good receivers later in the next, maybe stack in the next rounds. And I feel a lot more comfortable with that than having to worry about, swinging and missing on all the other tight ends down in the class. That's just my overall.
I could see where you're coming from for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I think we should do a video one time where we draft a tight end early and see what happens. But if I was drafting personally, if this was like a real draft, I would 100% take DJ Moore just because I think later in the draft, you can take a stab at tight end. But I think Mark Andrews is by far the third tight end. Easily. Like Tyler said, there's no way anyone is even coming close to him in my eye. It's a huge drop between Andrews and a guy like Waller or Ertz, 100%. But I think – you can go.
Sorry. I was going to say, for me, Andrews is closer to the top 2 tier than he is to any other tight end listed there.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the way I view it there.
Yeah, the only problem with drafting a tight end early, which I typically find, is say we go tight end, then we go 2 wide receivers, then my third running back I fucking hate. That's typically the problem.
You could just go 1 wide receiver, go running back again. You can go one of the rookies, and then you can go back to the wide receiver. That's just how deep I think the class is, that you can get away with doing that and feel very, very comfortable getting wide receivers late. You're always go wide receivers late. Finding running backs late is hard. Finding good tight ends late is hard. When you get wide receivers late, that's kind of what you lean on towards the back end of your drafts. I think.
You mentioned that finding tight ends late is hard, but I feel like tight end is the easiest predictive position to predict the breakout, basically. Because you look at their snap percentages that they're going to be getting, they're projected to get, their target shares and their general offenses. That's why I look at a guy like Fant. I mean, there's one alpha receiver there in Courtland Sutton. And they're bringing in Pat Shurmur, who runs 65% of his plays as passes. So there's going to be volume to go around there. I think Fant is a dynamic talent. And how many second-year breakouts at tight end do you see? You saw it with Kittle. You saw it with Andrews. I mean, it happens all the time. And I look at a guy like Fant. I just think he's got the first-round draft capital. He's got the athletic ability. He showed flashes at the end of last season. I mean, he is by far my sleeper at tight end this year. I mean, we're probably going to make a video specifically on him. But, I mean, he's listed at 11 there. He might honestly crack my top 6 once I finalize my rankings. That's how bullish I am on them.
Yeah, I mean, for like years, you could literally draft Jared Cook when he was not on the Saints, but when he was on Oakland, he was good for like 2 years in a row, and he was just falling down there in drafts. I agree that you can find a good tight end late. Same thing with quarterback. So I think I would just go with DJ Moore here. We've outvoted Tyler again. Survivor style. Tyler just got fucked yet again. Yeah. We're going DJ Moore,
okay.
But I don't hate the pick of Mark Andrews.
I love Andrews as a player. I mean, again, I told you, he was my sleeper tight end last year. Every round 9, round 10, I was picking him up on my teams. I'm like, okay, I'm looking at it. He's got a young, dynamic quarterback and an evolving offense. He's going to be a key figure. And he even outperformed my expectations just as Kittle did the year before. So I'm really I don't want to round myself up, but I'm really good at pinpointing these tight end breakouts. And Fant's my guy this year, so we'll see how that comes. But yeah, no, I love DJ Moore here. I mean, again, he's just a great receiver. I mean, there's not really much else to say. Let's just take him.
Yeah, let's just take him. So after we went with, go to the draft board again. After we went with Mr. DJ Moore, Chris Godwin came off the board. Not Chris Godwin, Chris Carson, followed by A.J. Brown, Damian Williams, Mark Ingram, Patrick Mahomes, Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Parker, Keenan Allen, Mark Andrews, Courtland Sutton, Allen Robinson, and Austin Hooper. Now, I think that Fantasy Pros right now has been drinking a little bit. Yeah. This motherfucker's team, I've never seen a worse team in my life. Kenyon Drake, Devin Singletary, Damian Williams, Courtland Sutton. I would sooner shoot myself than try to show my friends that this is the team I have. That's embarrassing. Your cock, if you goes down to half a centimeter, if you show up to a draft looking like this is embarrassing. If I don't understand it at all, I don't know.
Arguably the best player on his team was his last pick.
Courtland Sutton is potentially a top 12 wide receiver. So, I mean, Pat Mahomes and Lamar both going in the third round is going to be something very typical you see. I would not be surprised if in your guys at home league, obviously not us because we play with some more sharper kind of people. But if you're playing with your friends at home, some of them are a bunch of dumbasses. Even my friends, they watch all my videos and they still end up with a garbage ass team. So I don't understand it because they watch every video. It just goes through one ear out the other. But
there's going to be a lot of home leagues who's taking Lamar Jackson in the top 10. You know it's going to happen.
He might be taking the first pick in your at-home. If you're playing with your family, everyone knows who Lamar Jackson is. He might be a top 5 pick. So
I could see it.
So Austin Hooper in the 4th round as well makes no sense. But Tyler, you can go.
Yeah.
No justice for Mark Andrews. Why the hell is he in the 4th round? I mean, that is a steal for a team who kind of does not look good at all because they're going it's a mess for that team. Damn, that's a steal in the 4th round. Mark Andrews, if he's not tailing behind Ertz and Kelsey, Kelsey and Kittle. See, I'm so used to doing that. Kelsey and Kittle. If he's not trailing behind those guys, you gotta swipe him up. If you have trades in your drafts and you see Mark Andrews has a value like that in the 4th round, you better go trade for that.
I'm seeing Mark Andrews' face. I'm swiping right like it's on Tinder. So let's go on to the figure out who the fuck to pick here.
I was just gonna say, they don't like running backs, eh? This team, cutie pies, they just don't like running backs at all.
Yeah. No, well, running back 0, the only time you ever see it work is where this person is picking, though.
Yeah.
Running back 0 works at the back of the draft, but I would never do that.
You got to hit on your running backs late in the draft. You got to hit on your fucking random high upside guys who you just pick out, like your Raheem Mostert or your, I don't know. I would say Damian Williams, but this guy's going in the mid-3rd round apparently. So I'm out of it.
All right. So right now through 3 rounds, we have who do we got on our team? We got
here I could check.
We got Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs, and DJ Moore. So we got a solid squad thus far. Obviously, if a guy like Mark Andrews was still here, I would have 100% picked him in the 4th round if he was still sitting here.
100%.
Right now,
I mean, the value would be insane.
Right now we're looking at running backs and wide receivers. We're not going to fucking pick a quarterback early because it's not one of those experimental videos, like I said. So guys like Melvin Gordon, Marlon Mack, Kerryon, James Conner, Dave Montgomery available at running backs. Wide outs, we got Juju, Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, Calvin Ridley. So we're going to start here with Tyler. Where do you think we go here?
Calvin Ridley. I like the offense. I like the aim for wide receivers. I like that they're just going to keep pounding passing attack, and I don't really think Gurley's going to be as big of a threat there. Well, again, peeking another video later. I really like Ridley right now. I think he has a lot of value in drafts, and I think him right around here is very good. Obviously, I don't really like the running backs that are sitting up here. I have some kind of attachment to Kerryon Johnson that I will never be able to explain.
So do I.
I've tried to push away from him. I really like Calvin Ridley here. I struggle to get around Diggs yet in Buffalo. I kind of want to see
this situation
time happen there. And Kupp, I think, is on the decline, and not because of him and his talent, but that awful offense is just slowly going to start declining. No O-line. Their running back situation is a joke. They had no money to spend on anywhere, so that offense is declining.
I was also going to mention, I mean, like you saw with the emergence of Woods down the stretch. That's why I said Woods. You saw with the emergence of Woods down the stretch, Cooper Kupp was struggling down the season. I mean, once Woods started really taking over the offense, my opinion, I'll talk about it in a later video. I just love Woods this year as well. But I honestly think Woods is going to be the alpha in that offense, personally. Now, you were mentioning Calvin Ridley. I really love Calvin Ridley as well. The guy I'm looking at in specific here has got to be Juju Smith-Schuster.
That's what I was going to say. Even though I hate him. I legitimately hate Juju Smith-Schuster because I didn't pick him at all last year, but I saw the disgust in people's faces when 3 weeks in, their ass was just spread apart like they were on one of those other tubes, not YouTube, the opposite tube. So Juju Smith-Schuster, I like him. I would pick him here, but I love Ridley, but I think Ridley will fall to us in the 5th round, if I'm being honest.
I agree. I mean, I just look at Juju. I mean, there's no getting around it. His season last year was just pathetic. Like, plain and simple, but you can't blame it on him. I mean, he had a ton of injuries. He was playing with freaking deflated head Mason Rudolph for most of the season. And if not him, then Duck Hodges.
I mean, he's almost as deflated as the another Mason we know, so.
I'm just looking at a young 23-year-old wide receiver. He's getting his quarterback back. The year before, they really showed a really good rapport. He's coming off, 1,400 yards the year before with Ben Roethlisberger healthy. I mean, to me, he has the potential to pay off easily as a top 10 receiver. I mean, the upside is there. Getting him as wide receiver 16 ADP, I think, is a good value for him.
Am I the only one who likes Thielen?
I love him. I love him so much.
I would take Juju and Ridley over Thielen, but I'm hooked on a Thielen, as those people like to say. So
I'm not a Thielen fan.
My turnaround was hopefully that we would be able to go Ridley and then get Thielen because, gosh, Thielen went from an offense with Diggs where he was highly productive to an offense with no Diggs where I mean, shit, where are these targets going to go? Obviously, they're going to run the ball all the fucking time, but they're got to pass eventually. Adam Thielen's getting everything, so I love him as a pick right
now. I would prefer Woods personally to Thielen. And if I'm looking here,
it's close between Woods and Thielen to me, but I like Thielen more.
I like Gallup. Gallup too is at 31 right here. I would take Gallup as a top 23.
You're crazy if you would take Gallup over Boyd.
I wouldn't take Woods over him, not even in a second. I would go Thielen over him that quick. I mean, Woods, no offensive line. The running backs is just a mess. I don't even believe in Jared Goff at all. And they still have 3 wide receivers that have to share targets. Their offense is going to be miserable this upcoming year.
What do you mean? They paid him $100 million. That means he's good.
Oh my God. Oh.
I look at it though. Jeez. I don't know. You guys can talk about Thielen. I mean, we'll look at it in another video. But
we don't have to rub Thielen off here. We're gonna pick Juju here, I think, even though I like Ridley. We're gonna outrule Tyler yet again because there's no way you can't pick Juju in the 4th round.
Yeah, we alpha him.
We just out-alpha this man 9 times in a row. So after Juju Smith-Schuster went, Cooper Kupp, followed by Adam Thielen, Melvin Gordon, David Montgomery. A little too early for that. And then JT, Jonathan Taylor at the end of the 4th round. That's amazing value if he gets picked by a team that uses him. Followed by Zach Ertz, Marlon Mack, Stephon Diggs, Tyler Lockett, and Darren Waller. Any picks that anyone wants to talk about here?
I mean, I would talk about the Jonathan Taylor, but if we were taking rookies, obviously he'd be in consideration at our last pick. But I just don't think we're really thinking at this point of taking rookies just because they seem like a cop-out. We could take DeAndre Swift here and just say, oh, look how sick our team is. But I feel like that's a cop-out because by the end of the draft, these guys are going to go in the 2nd, 3rd round most likely.
In all the mock videos, I take Cam Akers in the 9th round. And I don't think that's a cop-out because that might be where he goes.
He'll go top 6 rounds, I think.
Yeah, me too. I like Ertz in a redraft in the 5th round. Holy shit! I don't know. Whoever pumped the Drakes is
2 tight ends.
whoever
that's an alpha move.
This guy's huffing glue on the sideline. He picks Austin Hooper in the 4th round. This kid's baked off his fucking ass. And then you got Zach Ertz falling to Wacko Flacco Flame sitting here.
Because I bet you Tyler doesn't even know who Waka Flocka Flame is.
I fucking do. Waka.
Wait, in a recent video, didn't he literally say I rapped for the money because I thought I was a terrible rapper or something?
Yeah, he 100%
called himself a terrible rapper. He's like, but I did it for the money.
I've seen Hannibal Buress and the Eric Andre show. I know who Waka Flocka is.
Flocka. All right, let's go and try to figure out who to pick here.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. We were talking about it on the last pick. He's still here. Calvin Ridley.
Am I going to win an argument? Whoa.
I mean, there's no argument to win. We all agree on it. Calvin Ridley right there was the pick 100%. We already talked about him. I think that he's going to be great in Atlanta this year. I believed in him last year, and he played strong this year. So here, go to the draft board real quick so I can read the names.
I know who I'm taking here.
Okay, so after we went with Mr. Calvin Ridley, our boy Robert Woods came out the board, followed by Kerryon Johnson, Terry McLaurin, A.J. Green, fucking bum, Philip Lindsay, D.K. Metcalf, Deshaun Watson, James Conner, T.Y. Hilton, Tyler Higbee, Russell Wilson, Julian Edelman?
Yikes.
What are these people thinking?
I mean, I'm looking at him, top of the board. I think it's a no-brainer for me personally. I love Kyler's upside this year. You're getting another one alpha receiver, 2nd year in the offense under Cliff Kingsbury. And he was a quarterback 7 in his rookie season. And how many times did you see them just flame out on the 5-yard line and decide on a 4th and 1 to kick a field goal?
I don't know. It's a million times. But I just want to talk about something here. You guys have to understand that. I'm talking to the audience, not to you guys, but when you're doing a draft and Deshaun Watson goes in the 6th round and so does Russell Wilson, you have to understand that is likely not going to happen in your league. Deshaun Watson may get picked in the 4th round or the 3rd round, near where Pat Mahomes Lamar got picked. Same thing with Russell Wilson. So you have to understand that if you wait on quarterback, something also to understand is that people draft 2 fucking quarterbacks before you even pick one. And you have to realize that you're drafting with a bunch of fucking idiots. So you have to draft a quarterback before they pick 2. They're not going to pick 2 in this situation. I like Kyler here as well, but can we look at the other positions as well?
I mean, I like Gallup too. I just saw him. You got Gallup. I mean, as much as we want to make fun
Johnson.
of him, he's going to get a workload there. Bill O'Brien's just going to absolutely feed him just because he knows, oh, shit, people are making fun of me. Let me give him 300 touches.
No, I agree with that. David Johnson's the pick here for me. So you guys can talk. You guys can talk about the other pick. David Johnson to me is 100% the pick. If he can stay healthy, you saw how good he was. Good he was.
I mean, the way I look at it is I love Kyler. I think he's going to end up being my quarterback 3, which is going to say a lot, but I don't know.
I like Hunt as well, but
I like Hunt, and I like I know you guys were mocking me on the mock draft earlier, but Raheem Mostert, I mean, what he showed down the stretch, it's going to be the lead back on a good offense next year in San Fran. Kyle Shanahan schemed him touches at the end of the year. I mean, what he showed me at the end of the season and in the playoffs, I personally would be fine not taking one of the backs here and end up getting him on the turnaround. But I just want to hear your thoughts on the whole situation here.
Here, wait, real quick. I'd honestly prefer, instead of Mostert, to just wait like 2 more rounds and then just draft Darrell Henderson, to be honest with you. I think that Darrell Henderson and Mostert have like a similar amount of upside, but I think Darrell Henderson could end up being like a top 20 running back.
But I think the thing with Mostert compared to Henderson, in my opinion, is that we've seen it from Mostert, whereas Henderson is more so hype. Now, I agree. Both of them are completely undervalued at this point in the 6th round? I mean, they're projected to go, what, 8th
They'll go
round
like the 8th
here?
round. Yeah,
which
9th
is
round.
just absurd to me because they got workhorse upside in good offenses, which are projected good offenses. And we're getting them so late. I mean, we're getting them out like Philip Lindsay's a freaking tandem back going ahead of them. Like,
yeah. Here, Tyler, let me hear your thoughts real quick.
Are we counting out DJ Chark? I mean, in all realness, like what are we sitting with? We got.
I like Chark, but
I like Chark more than Gallup.
I like Gallup more than him, and I like Boyd more than him.
I like Boyd more than Chark. But I don't like Gallup more than Chark.
The way I look at it is Gallup's offense is going to be so much better, so much more efficient, and having a guy like Cooper off, like on the other side of him, takes so much pressure off. Again, people are underlooking what Gallup did last year. He was a wide receiver 12 in points per game. He had 1,100 yards in 13 games, and playing opposite of Cooper, he really showed the talent that he naturally has. Now, I look at it in terms of Chark. I mean, do we really know that Minshew's going to perform the way he did last season? Their offense
could be better.
I mean, 21 touchdowns, 6 picks, most efficient rookie quarterback last year. I mean, it's going to be hard. Whereas I know Dak is going to be a stud quarterback. The Cowboys are going to rely on their passing game. I mean, under Kellen Moore, they threw it at such an alarming rate that nobody really even saw coming. And I'm a Cowboys fan. I did not think that our offensive attack would be that dynamic. And Gallup's a guy, like, nobody's talking about him. He's coming off 1,100 yards. He's 24 years old, 4th season acclimated in that offense. I mean, I think he's one of the real sleepers overall in fantasy. I mean, yeah. I know you guys prefer Chark and Boyd, but if I'm ordering those 3, I'd put Gallup as number 1 there.
All right. I'm just wondering if we agree on picking a wide receiver here, whichever one it is, we don't go wide receiver again for a while, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, you look at it, you got the running back value here. Again, I'm still keeping Kyler on the table, even though I know you guys pretty much have written that off. But I definitely agree. If you take a receiver here, focus on your running backs, and then maybe grab quarterback in around this range. So,
all right, Tyler, what are you thinking? What are you thinking here?
I mean, I still think there's solid wide receivers down in there. I think John Ross is way too low on this. I think if we're going to hype up Tyler Boyd, why not? If we're projecting that Burrow's going to go to the Bengals, which most people are, why not just take the shot on John Ross? Big playability. I think if anyone's going to get it to him, Burrow will. So he's kind of a sleeper down there. Obviously, we're not picking him here, so I don't really think we have to give up on
I was going to mention Deontay Johnson, just a few picks ahead of him. Is a really underrated player. Now, we have Juju, so it would be less likely we take him. But, I mean, you're getting a guy like Deontay Johnson at 9th, 10th round value, coming off a 700-yard rookie season with absolutely nothing at quarterback. Big Ben has shown in the past that he's able to carry 2 receivers into fantasy relevance. I mean, look at Juju, look at AB in the past. I really think he's a sleeper. You get him in the 9th, 10th round. I mean, he's a guy who can instantly step in as your wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, and really produce for your team. So that's just my nugget on him.
My opinion on this pick, though, I think Kareem Hunt's the go-to. I don't really think Cleveland. I think they will attempt to in the draft address their offensive line. They did add Jack Conklin, right tackle. But their offensive line still needs so much help. So why don't we go with a guy that Baker's just going to be pounding dump offs to? PPR, right? So we're
half PPR, but
same thoughts.
Even if I would still prefer, like if I'm taking it back, I'd still prefer David Johnson simply because I know exactly the workload I'm getting with him. Whereas Kareem Hunt is kind of undetermined how it's going to divvy up between him and Nick Chubb.
It's still not great though for Houston. I mean, I don't know. I don't get around David Johnson yet. I just haven't, but
they ran the ball a million times last year. That's the only reasoning with that. And the thing with the thing is right here, Kareem Hunt to me is a much safer pick because I think 10 points per game, you could see that happening. David Johnson, I could see him either getting like 15 points a game or being completely garbage to me.
I'd much rather take consistent points here. We already have two running backs, so we're not even dependent on big games. I think we can comfortably pick Kareem Hunt here. Get that 10-point kind of average. I'd love that on my team. I mean, you know what you're getting from him. You're putting him in the flex, so it's a comfortable pick for me.
That's fair as well. I mean, you look at Kareem Hunt especially. I mean, he's got standalone value as the receiving back in that offense. And then if anything, like knock on wood, were to ever happen to Nick Chubb, he's instantly a top 7 running back per week. So, I mean, I really like the floor mixed with the ceiling upside here. Ceiling play here, sorry. Yeah, I could totally get on board with Kareem Hunt. What are you thinking, Nick?
Yeah, I'm still thinking we go wide receiver, but if we all agree on Hunt, I don't hate the move. I would happily draft Hunt here, but I think the fact that our running backs are so safe would make me want to draft David Johnson. That would be my only argument against Kareem, but we can go Kareem here.
But our running backs are safe, but they're safe with upside. We took our running backs within the first 2 rounds. So when you're saying safe, normally you say, okay, they're going to finish as top 20 running backs. No, we got 2 locked in top 12 backs. So getting a guy who in a bye week replacement, for example, or in your flex and Kareem Hunt, who's going to perform as an RB2 with the upside to be a top 5, top 7 guy, if anything were to, knock on wood, happen to Nick Chubb. I really like the value there. I mean, you mentioned receiver. Now, which receiver would you be referring to? Because, I mean, I see 3 on the board that are really worth the value here.
I mean, we'll go back and forth on this for days, which wide receiver we'd pick. I'd pick Boyd, probably. And I think we should probably just go with Hunt because we're never going to be able to agree on a wide receiver.
Okay, let's do it.
And the wide receiver value, like Tyler said at the beginning, is very good late. So we go Kareem Hunt here. He's obviously not our flex right now because our team so far, we got Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs, DJ Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster, Calvin Ridley, and Kareem Hunt. So after we went with Kareem Hunt, Dak came off the board as well as Danny's guy, Kyler, DJ Chark, Evan Ingram, Michael Gallup, Jarvis Landry, Tyler Boyd, Josh Allen, Darrell Henderson, Devontae Freeman. So right now, I'm actually kind of regretting not drafting a quarterback, if I'm being honest with you.
I agree. I mean, if we could have locked up Kyler there, I mean, we still would have had a really good option at running back, make it back to us. I mean, I would have been fine taking David Johnson here while having locked up Kyler the round before. Now, the way I look at it, I mean, it's clear you have to wait out quarterback at this point because there's absolutely no options there that would be worth taking, in my opinion. I mean, let's not get into Aaron Rodgers.
I'm a drafter that lives and dies by drafting quarterbacks as late as possible. I'm plenty okay drafting 2 running backs that I feel are going to get enough touches to be startable options for me by getting David Johnson here and not having to go back to the position for a while, start piling up the wide receivers. I think if David Johnson falls to you after we were just considering maybe taking him over Kareem Hunt, I mean, this is a gold pick for me. I'm taking it almost immediately.
See, the problem with that is I like Debo so much. That's the only other this difference. I think David Johnson is going to be very good, but Debo here, to me, screams that we have to pick him because we just went Kareem Hunt.
Now, hypothetically here, if we took a David Johnson, we could always get a guy like, I don't know, like Will Fuller, Marvin Jones.
I love Marvin Jones.
Yeah, one of those guys could probably make it back to us. So I would be not confident, but I'd be comfortable if we took David Johnson, knowing that a receiver's going to make it back. Now, I mean, we could check the tight ends just so we can kind of get a visual of what tier we're entering at this point. I mean, got the Henrys, got the Cooks. I mean, I already mentioned I love Fant. Yeah, I mean, what are you guys thinking here? Are you thinking David Johnson or you want to go receiver? Or what's up?
Yeah, I think we just go David Johnson.
Yeah, me too. I mean, can I quickly point out, you see Devontae Freeman was taken? Who the hell did
garbage?
That?
No, not Devontae Freeman. Darrell Henderson as well, right next to him. I feel like that's a little early for him, but maybe that might just be me.
He's round 6, round 7. I mean, the guy that I'm thinking could be a sleeper if they don't address their RB position has got to be Malcolm Brown. Because, I mean, we've seen it from Malcolm Brown. It's most likely going to be a tandem backfield, and you're probably going to get Malcolm Brown at such a discount compared to what you're going to be getting Darrell Henderson at. I just don't think that Darrell Henderson is a full-time workhorse back. I think he's more so a pass-catching tandem back. That's the way I would view him. I don't think he's a 20-touch per game guy. And if he's getting 15 and a guy like Malcolm Brown's getting 10, and I can get Malcolm Brown at like the 13th round as like a throw-in, sign me up for that.
Yeah, if that's what happens, Malcolm Brown, just like we saw last, he was scoring a bunch of touchdowns. So if that's what happens, then I love that. But I think Darrell Henderson is going to get more touches than you guys think. But I could see a world where he is like 50-50 or 60-40.
I feel you. So we're thinking David Johnson here, Debo. What are you thinking?
Yeah, David Johnson at this point.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so we went with David Johnson at the 706, followed by Jameis Winston coming off the board. Debo Samuel, Danny Dimes, Drew Brees, John Brown, Darius Geis, Marvin Jones, Raheem Mostert, and who the hell is that? Antonio Brown? Did I just read this correctly? Antonio Brown in the 8th round. Motherfucker's not even on a team, bro. I might need to get my eyes checked. Like Jameis Winston.
Before you jump on that, Devontae Freeman was taken before him. I'd take AB over Freeman.
All right, Darius Slayton, Kirk, Antonio Brown's cousin, Hollywood Brown. So,
Nick, we wouldn't let him choose AB, and now he's just going to use the
business is fucking booming in the 8th round. Double Browns going off here. So this makes zero fucking sense. You have to have a hole in your head to draft Antonio Brown in the 8th round. I mean, he actually
Marquise.
Can we go to that team real quick?
Dude, I hope it's that team that has like the garbage team. Is it? It is.
No, that team's good. It's the team next to
What do you mean that team's good?
What do you mean that team's good? Who drafts AJ Green and Antonio Brown together?
It's old.
No, his wide receiver core is AJ Green, Antonio Brown.
They got the
T.Y. Hilton.
No worries.
They've got the tandem of fucking injury tent. All right, so let's go
God.
make a pick here. We gotta make a pick here.
What the
Bro, we got absolutely
Dude,
sniped.
we got absolutely bent over on the wide receiver position and quarterback.
I would have been fine with Christian Kirk too. Oh my God, what is going on here?
9 quarterbacks have already been taken.
He's a free agent.
I know, I said that. Jameis Winston. All right, so it's our pick now. We're probably going to still wait on quarterback, at least to me. So we're going to go wide receiver here, 100%.
I was thinking even tight end. What tight ends are still available? Is the same guy? Okay, we can wait around.
See, the thing is you could keep waiting.
Yeah, we can wait around.
Okay, so wide receivers right here we're looking at the top of the board is Mike Williams, Will Fuller, Sterling Shepard, Robbie Anderson, Alshon Jeffrey, Emmanuel Sanders. Where are you guys looking here?
I'm looking at Will Fuller. I'm just looking at it. I mean, what else are they going to do? I mean, Deshaun Watson, who else is going to throw the ball to? David Johnson? This is
Randall Cobb.
We have him. Oh, God.
Randall fucking Cobb, baby.
Man, Bob's paying him like a fucking wide receiver $9 million a year.
How can we take Will Fuller when the team of injury-prone wide receivers could select him in the next round?
Johnson moving to wide receiver. Is this a bold take?
David Johnson would be their best wide receiver right now, like Danny said. Hey, I like Will Fuller here as well. I don't trust he plays more than 6 games, but I would pick him.
As a high upside wide receiver 4 at this point in the draft, I mean, I think we could do much worse. I mean, it's clear that we could be taking fucking Antonio Brown here. Like
he'll be a top 10 wide receiver multiple weeks of the season.
100%.
Take Hunter Henry here and feel good about your pick, or we could take a
You're gonna feel good with the guy that Tyrod Taylor's throwing the ball to.
No,
Hell no.
I would much prefer Noah Fant at face value to Hunter Henry.
No, I'd take Henry over him, but right here it's Fuller.
That's what I'm saying.
It's Fuller.
I'd feel much better with a capable tight end than I would with Will Fuller bouncing 35 and then nothing on my.
Here, scroll up.
Sorry. Here.
We only have 3 wide receivers. We need to draft the wide receiver.
Yeah.
We need to.
I feel like you can push it back just a bit
but there's
be okay.
There's a clear drop off right after Fuller.
And I'm so comfortable with Fant as my tight end 1 in the 9th round, 10th round that like I would be willing to take a stab at a receiver, take an upside guy like Will Fuller, and then still come back on the other round and take a guy like Noah Fant.
I'd rather have Fuller and Gesicki than have Hunter Henry and some other bum at wide receiver, to be honest with you, because I think there's such a fall off. The guys that I like to get have already gone. Marvin Jones is one of my favorite late round picks. He already got taken. Antonio Brown, I love picking him late in drafts. You know what I'm saying? And he's gone as well.
Antonio Brown?
I'm just kidding, obviously. But John Brown, holy shit, 3 Browns went in the matter of like 9 picks. That's pretty impressive. But John Brown, he's going to fall straight down draft boards. I think he'll still be fine, to be honest with you. Yeah. I'd prefer him over, but we're going to go Fuller here, I think. Tyler's been voted off the island again. We're going Will Fuller. Tyler's getting butt fucked in this video.
Just look at that picture, Tyler. You're really going to deny him?
He looks like a boss.
Look at that. That's a fucking wide receiver.
A guy who's going to bend over your fantasy team and fuck you because you'll never be able to play him. Cool.
DeAndre Swift just went.
DeAndre Swift in the 8th round.
Wants Will Fuller. No one wants Will Fuller. No one wants him.
Okay, well, we do, so go fuck yourself. So at the 8th, after we went with Will Fuller, I'm going to talk right over you. James White comes on the board, followed by a fantasy counselor's favorite, Ronald Jones, Sony Michel, Anthony Miller, DeAndre Swift, Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Williams, Sterling Shepard, Jordan Howard, Carlos Hyde. Look at that, just 2 garbage backs, back-to-back, Jordan Howard and Carlos Hyde. I love that.
That's awful. This might sound unorthodox here, but the guy I'm really looking at is, it's going to sound crazy, but I'm looking at Matt Stafford here.
Yeah, no, I would be too, but I don't think we even need to pick him here.
That's fair.
The tight end position. Grab Hunter Henry here as he falls to us again.
Here, wait, look at the wide receivers real quick and the running backs, and then we'll decide. So running back still available, Garbage Tree Cohen, Latavius Murray, the people's sleeper of 2019, Tevin Coleman.
Deontay Johnson.
I changed my mind. I want John Ross here. I want
Deontay Johnson.
I want John Ross so fucking bad. He's gonna get Burrow, and Burrow goes deep.
Dude, John Ross will be in the next 6 rounds.
Yeah,
you don't need to pick him here.
John Ross in the 15th round for all I know.
Yeah, I'd rather take. I think Robbie Anderson has potential. To be honest with you,
if you're gonna do a dynasty startup, do it now so that you can get John Ross at that kind of fucking value. I know we're in a redraft, but like shit.
It might sound crazy because we already have Juju, but man, I think the value on Deontay Johnson here is just insane.
I don't like him better than John Ross.
Come on, man.
I do. You're fucking crazy.
You're a fucking.
How are we gonna?
Are you batshit, man? Like
dying Big Ben? Are we gonna take a?
Let me take the wide receiver 2 on a team over the wide receiver 3. AJ Green is still going to play. I hope you realize that.
On a team that we've seen, Big Ben has supported 2 good receivers throughout his career. Joe Burrow hasn't even played a fucking game in the NFL, and you're gonna say he's gonna support AJ Green, John Ross, and Tyler Boyd?
You're gonna
and Joe Mixon?
You're gonna take me to take Big Ben over Joe Burrow. Are you fucking high?
I would take the wide. Right now, I would take the number 2 weapon. No. Let me finish. I would take the number 2 weapon on a Big Ben offense, and maybe the number 4 or 5 weapon on a Joe Burrow offense. We haven't even seen play.
I'd prefer the number 1 weapon in Aaron Hernandez's hand because you know that shit's a killer. So let's go with Deontay Johnson here.
I hate that though.
I love it.
The thing I hate about it though is the fact that we do have Juju. But I mean, you could just trade.
Fucking A.
I mean, wide receiver 5. I mean, I just think the upside.
I mean, if you think about it, like remember 5 years ago, remember how good Martavius Bryant was with Antonio Brown? Martavius Bryant smoked his way out of the NFL.
Emmanuel Sanders in the past. Like, there's been Steelers wide receiver 2s that have just performed. And Deontay Johnson, I mean, his rookie season, he had 700 yards with bent in half Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges throwing him passes. You can't ignore the upside there. You're trying to hype up John Ross, who did he had a good few weeks in the season.
He had a good combine. He ran fast.
Awful offense. With an awful offense. Let's give him Joe Burrow and see what happens.
Okay, give Deontay Johnson Ben Roethlisberger. I love Joe Burrow, but he's still got to. Let me finish. He's still got to support Joe Mixon. He's still got to support Tyler Boyd. He's still got to support AJ Green. Like, you got to keep that in mind. Just rookie quarterback. Kyler Murray was fantastic last year. How many weapons in Arizona did he realistically keep afloat? Are you going to say that Joe Burrow's effect on Cincinnati is going to be more than Kyler Murray had last season?
Yes, because
as quarterback 7. Okay,
all right. Murray by a long shot, Chief.
Quarterback 7 in fantasy last year. You're fucking batshit if you
fantasy, not actual value. Wait,
if you think about it, if Big Ben goes down, does anyone not believe that Jameis won't be the guy there? I think imagine Deontay Johnson and Jameis Winston. You'd come in your pants if you had Juju and Deontay Johnson.
Back for Deontay Johnson, and I can support the pick.
Yeah, but even with Big Ben, I don't see. The thing is, I like John Ross. I just don't understand picking him here in the 9th round.
Agreed, 100%. I mean, maybe in round 13, 14, I'm taking a stab at him. But, you have not – I love Burrow. You have not seen anything from him in the professional game at all yet. He's a rookie. And even if he's the best rookie of all time, Kyler Murray was the fucking quarterback 7 this year. Who was fucking relevant on the Cardinals offense? Look, David Johnson,
Kenyon
your boy.
Drake.
Yeah, at the end of the season.
Yeah, Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald. Are you talking wide receiver? What are you mentioning here?
In fantasy.
That were
We're
relevant?
looking for John Ross in fantasy. He's a poor man's Will Fuller.
Yeah, he stays more on the field than Will Fuller. Fucking everyone does.
What do you mean he got hurt all of last season?
Yeah, so did fucking Fuller, chief.
So what's your argument? They both got injured at the same time. Like what?
Just take Deontay Johnson.
Oh my god.
Just fucking take Deontay Johnson here. We've talked about this man for 5 fucking minutes in the 9th round. All right, so after we went with Deontay Johnson, Jameson Crowder came out the board, followed by Robbie Anderson, Kenny Stills, my boy Preston Williams, Alshon Jeffrey, Latavius Murray, Jared Cook, Brandon Cooks, Duke Johnson, Malcolm Brown, Curtis Samuel, Justin Jackson, my boy. Any picks there that were confusing?
I have no clue what's going on right now, but I'm still down to wait at quarterback and tight end simply because none are going off the fucking board.
No, here is where I'd take Hunter Henry, to be honest with you, in the 10th round.
Who's available, though? I mean, we can
If I'm being honest with you, the value for Hunter Henry, if he is healthy, could be immense.
That's fair. I mean,
scroll down.
The only other guy, I know. I am saying the only other guys I'd really be considering here are like Chase Edmonds, Tony Pollard, like one of those guys. But I mean, I agree. Hunter Henry at this value in the draft is just insane.
See, what's crazy is I actually was thinking about taking him last round, but here the value is amazing. Like Tyler was talking about all draft. I mean, maybe 3 rounds ago I didn't like it, but here you have to do it, I think.
I agree. I mean, again, like as I've said, I personally love Fan here, but I mean, if Henry's not too far off in my opinion. So I mean, if we're gonna go with Henry, I'm completely on board with it here.
Yeah, it's Henry, right, Tyler?
Yeah, I've been screaming it. Let's go. The fact that he's still here is just a clown show. I don't know.
Well, it's because his injury concerns is why he's still here.
I mean, I wouldn't even be opposed to taking Fant I wouldn't be opposed to taking Fant next round just to make sure you lock down tight end 1 production. Like realistically here, I think you got to go quarterback. I'm looking at Matt Stafford personally. I mean, quarterback 5 on points per game last season. He's bringing back Kenny Golladay. Marvin Jones is coming back. Kerryon Johnson's going to be healthy. The upside in that offense is just going to be so tremendous. The only concern I have is Stafford's back. It is a concern. He missed a lot of the time last season, but on a points per game basis, again, he was number 5 in all fantasy. I just think he's a real sleeper, and getting him at round 11. I mean, I just think that's too much value to pass up. What were you guys' thoughts?
Yeah, here, real quick before we make the pick, after we went with Henry, Tariq Cohen came out the board, followed by Breida, Coleman, Williams, not the fucking good Williams, Jamal Williams, J.K. Dobbins. No way he gets picked in the 10th round. He was picked like 9 years ago. Aaron Rodgers, Randall Cobb, Golden Tate, Cole Beasley, Deshaun Jackson. So when we're looking at a quarterback here, I like Stafford, but I think I would go with Lucas's quarterback 1 of last season, Matt Ryan.
Oh, God. By the way, Cole Beasley, who are some of these other guys that were going off? They're fucking ridiculous.
Deshaun Jackson.
Cobb, Golden Tate. I'm not taking these guys for Ross. What is this? That's insane.
Well, I would have taken CeeDee Lamb. I mean, he's still there.
You're not even mentioning the rookies. Shit.
Judy, but we can't pick them because it's so fucked up. Like, there's no way Judy goes in the 11th round.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so here, to me, it's between Ryan and Stafford. I hate Wentz. Tyler, your thoughts?
Agreed.
Because Danny already talked about Stafford.
I would prefer Stafford, but what are you thinking, Tyler?
I like Ryan. I'm always a Ryan guy. I like the offensive weapons around him. I like all the pieces. I'm not upset with Stafford, though. I love what Stafford was able to do. I really hope he comes back healthy because that offense can be really, really good. It helps out all the teams, all the guys on that offense's value. So I hope Stafford comes back nice and healthy and starts putting up great offensive numbers because I think he can. Matt Ryan's just a really safe floor. I'm kind of comfortable with, but I'm good with either.
Yeah, the argument for Ryan over Stafford is strictly, to me, health. I know Matt Ryan will likely play 14, 15, or 16 games. Like, he just has his whole career. Stafford, before his back got fucked up, was just like that. But recently, his back has been flaring up. I mean, he played 8 games last season. The season before, he played 16 games. But the last 4 games, dude was walking out there. His back was destroyed. I'd go Ryan here. But
would you hate the idea of going Fant, doubling down at late round tight ends, and then coming back on the turn and taking Stafford?
I can just get Hawkinson later and feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, no, I'd rather take Ryan here and then hope Fant falls to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Hawkinson.
And I typically don't go 2 tight ends because I don't believe you need to, but That should be me.
Fant got sniped.
Fant went.
went.
So
And
after here,
Stafford got sniped as well.
Yeah, fuck. So recap real quick. We went with Matty Ice, and then D.D. Westbrook came at the board. Sammy Watkins, the Lizard King. Mecole Hardman. N'Keal Harry went, who now he has no value at all. Royce Freeman, Dallas Goedert, Boston Scott, Fant, Newton, Gesicki, Janu Smith, Stafford. Now, why is someone picking
He's got Lindsey and Royce?
Why is someone picking Goedert over Fant? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't get that at all. I mean, that's just a joke. But look at his tight end core. What is going on there?
All right, so
I like Goedert in a dynasty because I know Ertz is on a 1-year deal. So I think he's going to be a tight end one for the future. But, man, in terms of a redraft, taking him straight up over Fant, I just don't understand whatsoever. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't take looking at Gesicki and Jonnu, I would take Hawkinson over them. Again, healthy Stafford makes that offense hum. It helps carry on. It helps Hawkinson. It helps Marvin Jones, Kenny Golladay, etc. I really like Hawkinson. It's kind of unfortunate. I always had him higher than Fant. And looking at just kind of placement, I think Fant's just in such a better situation. But Hawkinson's still just an elite tight end prospect who will grow into a very talented guy. Obviously, he's sitting there on the board. If you want to stack tight ends, my moves though here is John Ross, and it will be until he's off the board.
Here, show me the running backs real quick.
Okay, here. I like Pollard too. I like Pollard a lot. I just think his upside, he's by far, in my opinion, him and Madison are by far the most valuable cuffs you can have. If you're trying to win your league, having them as your RB5 is just going to be so tremendously valuable.
Have you forgot about Mike Boone?
Ew, shut up, Alex.
Oh, but you're also forgetting about 6th-round legend Darwin Thompson, who's also still.
God.
Dude, Chase Edmonds, by the way.
Chase Edmonds too, yes.
Great handcuff.
I love it.
But
I think he has standalone value. I don't think Drake's going to be the pure 20 touch per game guy. I think he's going to be an efficient 16, 17 touches a game. You mix Chase Edmonds into that offense for a good 8 to 10 a game. That's going to be the fastest paced offense in the league. They're going to run a lot of plays. You're going to need healthy, fresh bodies in. Drake and him are going to come on and off the field. I think sorry, go.
There's a lot of guys here who I think could potentially win you your league. Even Justice Hill potentially could win you your league. I still believe in him.
I can see it.
Rashad Penny. If they don't draft a running back and Carson has fumbleitis, Penny.
I'm scared of Penny because of the knee. He absolutely shredded his knee the second last week of the season. He's still not fully recovered. Penny scares me, and out of the handcuff options, he would definitely be lower on my list compared to guys like Pollard, Madison, Edmonds, Hill. But,
I also like Jalen Samuel. I'd pick all those guys above him, but I think Samuels could also be good. Same with Snell.
Agree. I think personally that the Steelers are going to end up drafting a workhorse. So Connor's going to be the one that's getting replaced because Samuel's going to provide that receiving value. What he did, I'm pretty sure I saw that the Steelers tight ends coach was actually his coach back at NC State.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was his running back coach, actually. I'm pretty sure.
Running back coach, yes. Sorry, my bad.
No, you're good. No, I had that stat in the back pocket all season last year because I was a big believer in Jalen Samuels eventually taking over that backfield. I don't really think James Conner has it as locked down as people may think.
I don't think he's a good back. Nothing about his athletic profile, about his production really screams to me an elite back. I think that they're really in play for a guy like Cam Akers, a guy like Jonathan Taylor in the draft.
I think he's good, but I just don't think he's going to ever be able to stay healthy. So right here, clearly we're looking at guys like Alexander Madison, Pollard. I think Madison is most likely to get game action over Pollard because I think Madison Cook's injury history. Exactly. So I would go Madison here over Pollard, but discuss it.
I like that because I think Pollard would probably have more standalone value simply because of what Dallas is going to try to do on their offense. They're going to try to get him the ball in space. They're going to probably use him and Zeke simultaneously. But if you're looking at pure league winning upside, I think it's more likely that Cook would go down as opposed to Zeke simply because of the durability we've seen out of Zeke. So grabbing a guy like Madison, Cook goes down, he's going to be the workhorse in that offense. He's going to be a top 10 running back in fantasy. And getting him here late in the draft, I mean, I think that's a value, especially as our RB5, RB5, especially with the guys we already have. I think it's a great pick. So
yeah, I go Madison here as well. So Tyler's muted, so I think we're just gonna go Madison here. Oh,
yeah, no, my move was sorry, dog's acting up. She does every fucking night. I gotta stop having her in the recording studio. My move's John Ross again. Hate me if you will.
Go fuck yourself. Pick Madison.
How?
Because John Ross could fall to us.
Oh, Hawkinson would have been nice too. Pollard went.
Oh, he fell to us. It's perfect. So Alexander Madison, then T.J. Hawkinson, O.J. Howard, Tony Pollard, Jack Doyle, TB12, Tommy Brady, Tampa Bay Tom, Cam Akers, Adrian Peterson, Carson Wentz, Ian Thomas, Ryan Tannehill. I hate Carson Wentz, but in the 13th round, I'd probably nut my pants if I could pick that. So,
what are your guys' thoughts on here? Thoughts here on taking a guy like Ben Roethlisberger as a handcuff at quarterback?
No, I would never do that. We're gonna have to pick John. We're gonna have to pick John Ross.
I mean, I think we can get him on the next pick. That's why I'm saying.
Well, no, but we have to pick a defense and a kicker.
Oh wait, I thought there was 16 rounds. My bad. Let me just check. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So we've got to pick one guy here. I would go either another running back, like just one of those guys. Personally, that's what I would do. I think I would just go another running back, but I think Ross definitely has the upside to be like a far better player than that running back. So
I can agree with that. By the way, when I said handcuff, I didn't mean handcuff. I meant because we took Ryan, who's got his question marks, taking another option. Like, yeah, when I say handcuff, I didn't mean like, oh yeah, get his backup. Like, I just misspoke. But
have you ever seen someone do that? like imagine like a few years ago, some guy drafts like Tom Brady and they got Jimmy Guap on the bench, like ready to go, fired up.
That was a waiver pickup from what I remember, but yeah, I mean, it happens all the time in Dynasty, obviously, since there's so many rounds you can pick off. So it's valuable to have guys like, for example, Case Keenum just signed a 3-year, $18 million contract to be Baker's backup. If anything were to happen to Baker, you got the weapons there. You got him on a good investment of a deal. So, I mean, Case Keenum would be a good value backup I'd look at in case Baker ever went down. But again, like in redraft, there's no fucking way you're touching those guys.
In my opinion, the fact that Baker's gotten more touches in the NFL than Tim Tebow is a fucking clown show. They both suck. They both need to go play baseball.
You gotta relax, man. Like Baker's such a talented player, man. Like you gotta relax.
Guys, we've been going for 1 fucking hour. Can we just pick John Ross?
Yeah, fuck.
All right.
Have we actually? This video is supposed to be like half an hour.
It's been an hour. Yeah, I know. We're stupid. But John Ross, Chase Edmonds, Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, Rashad Penny, Naheem Hines, then the fucking Big Ben. So you pick a defense. The way you pick a defense real quick, let me just tell you. You go on Google, you type in the schedule for week 1, you draft the defense playing a shitty offense. That's what you do. We got an A because we are excellent. Our final roster is Matt Ryan. Our 2 running backs are Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs. Our 2 wideouts are DJ Moore and Juju. Our tight end is Old Man Hunter Henry. Our flex is Calvin Ridley. Kicker and defense don't fucking matter. We got Kareem Karate Kick Hunt on the bench. David Johnson, Will Fuller, Deontay Johnson. Got Johnson and Johnson. We got Alexander Madison and John Ross, the sauce boss. Thoughts before we go to sleep?
That team is fantastic. Like right off the bat. I mean, you lock down your running back position. You got a high upside at receiver. The bench is all full of upside guys. I mean, if I'm leaving my draft with that roster, I mean, I'm just giving myself a nice little pat on the back.
Yeah, like in the league, that guy Ruxin, he roster baited. That's what you do to this roster. You just jerk off straight to it. It's so beautiful.
I love the little pick too. I know we're zooming through that, but like we never see the same number 1 defense go 2 years in a row. It just never happens. And I think if a team's going to do it, Buffalo is so nice right now. I would love to see them be the number 1 defense this upcoming year.
Yeah, Tyler's nutting over our defense pick that I just auto-picked pretty much.
Matt Prater.
I literally just clicked the top-ranked person on the board. I was not paying attention.
Here, wait, real quick. Why the fuck did the Patriots cut Steven Gostkowski? Does that make any sense?
They cut him? I thought he just retired. I didn't even fucking read the report.
All right, but who gives a fuck? He's a kicker. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you enjoyed, click that fucking subscribe button. Check out Tyler, Danny down below in the description. Click on one of the fucking videos that's on your screen. Have a great rest of your day. It's 2:30 in the morning. I love you.
Check my channel when you get the chance. I mean, content's going to be coming soon throughout draft season, fantasy season. Just buckle up. Fantasy shaders are about to come at you.
Yeah, Pornhub.com/fantasy shaders. Goodbye.